Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are talking about my nose ring and my experience with getting it pierced. So, getting that one done again, I was like, if you've watched any of my other piercing videos, just like all the rest of those, I was in my early 20s, somewhere between 20 and 21, time frame possibly 22, I honestly don't remember. The funny story about this one is that when I went into the piercing parlor, was originally going in with the intent of getting my clit pierced. Way to my hello YouTube. That was my intentions. I went with a whole group of friends. Me and this other girl were gonna both get our clitorals pierced. That was kind of the whole goal. And then my cousin came. She was gonna get her nose done, and there was someone else with us, and I can't remember what she got done, but there was like 4 of us, I think, that went into the shop. The girl I went in with, that we were both going to get our clits done, she went through with it. But the last minute, I was like, I'm going to get a nose ring. So I never got that piercing done, and at this point in my life, I'm no longer interested in having that done. But at one point, like, I wanted to get every piercing available. Like everything, that the ones that are up in here, like that little piece of skin that's right above your front teeth, I wanted to get under my tongue done. I've never been interested in my tongue itself. That's one that I've never wanted done, but like I wanted to get right in there pierced, like you name it, I wanted it. I've kind of grown past that now. I am pretty happy with the piercings I have. I would like to get my tregs done, and I would like to get the back of my neck pierced. But after that, I think I'll pretty much be calling it quits. So, into actually getting my nose ring done. So, my cousin went first, getting hers done. And she is not very good with pain. Or at least she didn't used to be. And so I kind of figured that she wouldn't handle it well. She took it like a champ. Like she doesn't do well with the bleeding though. And she did end up having some bleeding from her nose ring, and she had to sit down, was kind of woozy, and that was a little scary. That can happen to some people. Just throwing that out there. Sorry for any noises that you are hearing. My animals are over here in this giant pile of stuff that I need to sort through and get rid of, and they are just making all the noises that they can. Anyways, that's something to keep in mind if you're going to get a piercing, is that, you know, you could get a little woozy. There could be a little blood. That's totally normal. If it happens to you, don't feel embarrassed. Your piercer should totally know what to do. Ours was like, you know, sit down, and he had her like, I forget if it was like tilt your head back, or I don't remember. I don't think she'd have to tilt her head back. It wasn't a nosebleed. But anyways, she said that it didn't hurt at all. It was like a quick pinch. Her eyes watered a little bit. And then she started bleeding, but otherwise she said it was no big deal and wasn't a bad piercing. So I was like, okay, this is, you know, this is going to be easy. Like at this point, I've already had my navel done. I've already had my industrial done. I may or may not have had my upper cartilage at this point. I honestly can't remember. Anyways, yeah, so I was like, okay, this is going to be like a super easy piercing. Because if Chelsea can do it, I can do it, you know, like, nothing against my cousin, I'm not saying that, it's just that, you know, when she was in her early 20s, you know, she didn't have a very high pain tolerance, and, or at least that's what she's always said, is that, you know, she didn't have a high pain tolerance. So I was like, okay, well, you know, if she can do it, I can do it. So, and I also say that because this was like her first real piercing. I believe she'd already had her ears done, and I'm not trying to knock ear piercings. It's just that a lot of people get those done when like you're a little kid with your mom, and it's like at like the mall, and it's just, it's different than going into a piercing parlor by yourself as an adult and having a much larger needle put through your skin. Granted, nose rings aren't really that big compared to earlobes, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. So I go up to Chelsea, I sit down, you know, on the piercing table, and the guy's marking me, and I'm like, okay, no big deal. And he puts the cork, they use a cork, so they don't scrape your face or anything else, and any other piercing you get on, they're going to use a cork. So he takes the cork and he puts it down like right under my nose, And he goes and he sticks the needle through, and holy shit, that fucker hurt. Not gonna lie, I would put it on like a pain scale of an 8 or a 9 as far as piercings go. I will never get my nose re-pierced. If anything ever happens and that hole closes up, goodbye. Like, not doing that one again. My eyes started watering like crazy. Not that that's a huge deal, but they did water a lot, and it just, oh, it hurt. Oh my gosh, it hurt. Just thinking about it just makes me cringe. That was probably one of my worst piercings. My belly button still takes the cake for that one. If you're curious about it, I will leave a link to that one in particular down below. All of my piercing videos should be in a playlist. My belly button was a botched piercing, so that one takes the cake. But if that one hadn't been botched, I would have put this one at the top for like my worst, most painful piercings, because it hurt so bad. So bad. Never again will I get my nose done. Can I say it one more time? It hurt. So he gets the needle through, gets the jewelry, goes to put the jewelry in, and the jewelry friggin' hurt. Oh my goodness, the needle hurt, and then the jewelry hurt. And the jewelry was a corkscrew nose ring. Personally, I hate those. I had struggles getting mine back in, and I'll tell you the story of how it came out in a second. But he went to go put that thing in, and of course he's like, got my nose clamped, which typically I love the clamps when they clamp you to put jewelry on, because it kind of numbs the area, in my opinion. It's almost like when you have a tourniquet put on your arm whenever you're at the doctor and they're going to draw blood, and it kind of makes like the lower part of your arm kind of go numb. So I personally love it when they clamp you for a piercing, and my piercer has always clamped me for a piercing. For all my piercings, I've had a clamp. So typically I love that because it kind of makes the area go numb. It did not do that with the nose. If anything, it may have made it like more painful, maybe. I don't really know. I just know that hurt so bad. So he went to go put the jewelry through, and that hurt really bad. And those corkscrews, like they pull your nostril out, and then they like, they're not like pulling it out, but like they have your clamp, and they're like kind of pulling it to the side, like your nostril, like kind of pulling it to the side like that, and then they're like shoving the corkscrew through, and like they gotta twist it in, and the whole thing just hurt. I mean, it didn't take very long to have done, you know, a few seconds, like maybe a minute tops for everything. I mean, my piercer's really quick, he's really good. But that's just for me personally, which that was just a really painful piercing. Now, I have talked to other people, and recently I went with my friend Heather to get her nose pierced, and she said it was a no big deal. So again, Heather, if you want to leave your experience with a nose ring down in the comments below, I will pin it to the top again with this one. She said it was no big deal. It wasn't that bad. I have another friend who got hers done, and I asked her about it because like it was after mine, and I was like, oh, it's so painful, like, you know, just a heads up, it's gonna hurt. And she got hers done, and she said it was no big deal. My cousin thought it was no big deal, but for me, oh my goodness, it hurt. So just keep that in mind when you think about getting a piercing. Just because it hurts really bad for one person, or it's no big deal at all for another person, that doesn't translate to what it's gonna be for you. And even if you've had several other piercings done and you thought they were no big deal, kind of like me, I'd had a couple done at the time, and you know, they weren't overly painful, doesn't mean that your next piercing isn't going to hurt, especially if it's in a different location. So on to talking about that corkscrew. That corkscrew, I personally hate them. I know that's typically what they pierce you with for healing, or at least that's what they do at my shop for healing. Talking like I own it. No, but the parlor I go to for piercings, they will use the corkscrew. The experience I had with it was that I thought it was uncomfortable. The only way that it didn't bother my nose on the inside was if I had it spun around to where the bottom of the corkscrew like stuck out my nose, so it always looked like I had a silver booger. Otherwise, it was like poking the inside of my nose right in here. I don't know why I stuck my finger up there, but it would be like poking the inside of my nose, and it was just irritating. It bugged me. That being said, within a day or so, like I really did stop feeling it as long as it was spun the correct way, which again made it look like I had a booger. But within a few days, I was desensitized to it overall. It took me a while to get past seeing it out of the side of my eyes. Like I would, anywhere I was looking at, just big sparkly thing on my nose, like I would see it. But otherwise, and I got past that. I mean, I don't notice it anymore. Granted, the nose ring I have now is considerably smaller. I definitely sized it down. As something else to keep in mind with those corkscrews is that they are a thicker post than what you can get. And for myself personally, I wanted to get the thinnest post possible because I wanted to have the smallest hole in my nose possible. So, on to the story of how I ended up taking my corkscrew out. I'd had my nose ring for probably about 2 weeks at this point. Everything was doing pretty good with the healing process. I could spin it around, wasn't a problem, wasn't hurting too bad, but I still wasn't looking to take it out anytime soon because it was still a little bit tender, and I was just gonna, you know, keep waiting until it didn't hurt anymore. Well, I was sleeping, and apparently I rolled over and I flung my hand across my face, and my nail caught my nose ring and flicked it out. Holy shit, that hurt. Woke myself up out of a dead sleep. I had like the nose ring stuck up in the nail of my, stuck up in my fingernail. Oh my god, it hurt. And so that's how I ended up taking my corkscrew out for the first time. I tried to put it back in with no avail. I really struggled with that. I could not for the life of me get that corkscrew back in my nose. So I made an emergency trip to Walmart at like 1 in the morning to get a new nose ring and or stud. So the one I got from Walmart came in a pack, and I think it was a diamond stud that I got. I really don't remember at this point. It was still a thicker post compared to what I have now, but thinner than the corkscrew, and I went ahead and put that in, and la-di-da, whatever. I believe I had the one that had a little ball on the end of the post. I don't recommend those at all. Please avoid them at all costs. Don't even buy those. So my cousin ended up with a very similar post around the same time. She took her corkscrew out and got about the same kind of post that I did. We both wore the same ones for a couple of months. Keep in mind our piercings were still healing at this point. We weren't really taking them out, and we just kept them in. So she finally texted me one night and said, look, I've been working on getting this post out of my nose for like the past hour. If you're going to get yours out, I would suggest doing it because that little ball in the end is really hurting to come through. And what had happened was that the skin around, you know, the post was healing up around the barbell, but we still had that ball on the end that was inside of our noses. So when you go to try to pull it out, that ball has to re-gauge your piercing to get it out, and it is really painful. I worked on mine for about 30 minutes before I finally just gave up and yanked it, and I literally had like chunks of skin come out in tissue come out stuck on the top of that ball that I was trying to get out of my nose. So after that, I switched to the piercing that I have currently, which is a little L-shaped bar. It is the smallest post that I have personally found. I get all of my nose rings from Nirvana. I'm not sure if Nirvana is like a nationwide store or not, but that is where I do get my nose rings. Again, I want like the smallest post possible. I definitely recommend the L shape, where you can buy just a straight post that you can bend yourself, which is currently what I have. I have it bent to whatever I feel is comfortable. I don't feel it in my nose at all. It doesn't bother me at all. Occasionally, like if I go to blow my nose and I don't think about it, it'll like stab me on the inside of the nose if I don't have it spun the right way. So that's, you know, something to keep in mind. But I'll go ahead and bring you in and I will show you how to take it out, what my post looks like, and then how to put it back in. Welcome to my face. Anybody else watch Coffee Break with Danny? So right here, that is my little nose stud. I have like tiny little diamond. Went ahead and brought you guys in even closer. So I've just got like a tiny little diamond stud there. I don't think it's near as sparkly as it was when I first bought it, but I have kept this particular nose ring in for like probably the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. It's been a while. So that's what it looks like. Let me see if you can see it. Nope, can't even see it up there. For any of you who would be curious about, can you see your nose stud in your nose? Not these ones. So what I do to take it out is I stick my thumb, trying to stay in focus here. I take my thumb and I put it in my nose, and then I push up on the post. So you can see the post coming up right there. And then with this finger, I grab it and I kind of do like a rotated pull down. And then I can slide it right up. And as you can see right there, it's a little L-shaped post. Now this guy was just a straight post when I bought him, and I bent him into the L shape. But you can also buy them in the L shape as well. And then for putting them back in, you just line it up with your hole, push it down Sorry, I'm all over the place. So you push it down so it's like that, and then you just kind of push it on in. For my hole in particular, I kind of got to do like a twist with it. I'm guessing it's because I had the corkscrew. It could be wrong, but there you go, and it's in. And then I can just kind of reach in there and adjust it to whatever position I want the post on the inside to be. I like to have it pointing towards the side of my nostril on the inside. If it points towards this guy, like I said, sometimes I stab myself and that kind of hurts. So that's what my nose ring looks like. That's how you take it out and put it back in. As for the healing, mine took a while to heal. It did take quite a long time. I think part of it plays into the fact that I had to hide it for work. So, you know, taking it in and out sooner than you should, I think it kind of delays the healing process. But I would say it took mine, oh man, I don't hardly remember now, 4 to 6 months before it was fully healed. And then it took, and that was enough for me to take it out for like a day. Like for 6 hours of work, I could take it out for 6 hours, and then I had to put it right back in, and it would be like a really tight, like shove it through kind of putting it back in. From there, I'd say maybe at 8 months to a year, I could start leaving it out for a couple of days at a time. Now I can probably go, I don't know, maybe a week without it in. I haven't tried, just because, like I said, like if anything ever happened to it, like I'm not getting it redone, so I'm not looking to like push the envelope any with leaving it out any longer than necessary. So I always have my nose ring in. Occasionally I'll sleep without it, like if I forget to put it in after my shower or something in the evening, but otherwise I try to keep it in. Something else people may be wondering about is how noticeable the hole is when you take your jewelry out. So from, you know, a normal distance, I don't think it's that noticeable. I know we're here on camera, so it's kind of hard, but I mean, you can kind of see it right there, but I don't think it's like overly noticeable. And have noticed that the longer I leave my nose ring out, the less noticeable it becomes. So within like 15 to 20 minutes of having it out, I feel like you can hardly see it at all. So I definitely think that's one good thing about the piercing. It's not something that you have to worry about being like overly noticeable. Something else that I have had questions on and people wonder about is when you sneeze, does snot come out of the hole? No, it does not. Do boogers collect on the post? No, they do not, except for if you're sick. I have had that happen where I'm sick and I've gotten boogers on the post. I will admit to that one. That can happen when you're sick and your nose is just like a snot factory. I've had it happen. But just like on your every, you know, average day, I don't have boogers stuck to the post, and I don't get snot coming out of the hole when I sneeze, even if I have the jewelry taken out. That doesn't happen. So rest easy on that one. Trying to think if there's any other things worth talking about with this, but I'm kind of coming up with a blank. So if you guys have any further questions when it pertains to nose rings, feel free to leave those in the comments down below and I'll answer any of your questions. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, found it informative, helpful, entertaining, and I'll see y'all in my next video.